From childhood, society hands you a script. Your golden years happen in your 20s. It's an era defined by raw physical energy, college parties, and the loud performance of youth. Because you believe that script, your 30s turn into a quiet panic. You start watching the calendar as if it's ticking toward an expiration date, trying to hold on to a version of yourself that is rapidly slipping away. This chart shows the culturally assumed trajectory of a man's life. We are taught that value spikes sharply at 20, and that every new line on your face is evidence of a decline in relevance and opportunity. But looking at the actual data of human development, a different reality emerges. The currency of a man's life simply shifts. Notice how this new curve, labeled presence, begins to compound exponentially right as the physical peak fades, eventually dwarfing what came before. This presence is the result of years spent failing, learning, and becoming. It allows a man to change the energy of a room without saying a word, replacing the loud desperation of youth with a weight that is earned rather than performed. At 20, a young man's mind is highly reactive. He is constantly looking outward, desperate to gather external feedback to determine his own shape and worth. This validation-seeking behavior forces young men into a state of continuous performance. They exhaust themselves trying to impress an audience of people who have no impact on their mission. By 40, years of mistakes break those dependencies. The desperate need for approval fades. What remains is a self-contained rhythm, a clear understanding of what holds value. He no longer needs to prove his worth to strangers. He stops chasing and starts existing, making him one of the few in the room not performing for someone else's approval. This shift creates a natural attraction. When a man stops frantically running after respect, he stops being someone people can pressure or manipulate. Others sense this lack of desperation and begin moving toward him as a source of stability. You can observe this shift in social dynamics, particularly in how mature women perceive men navigating their 40s. There's a distinct curiosity that goes deeper than surface-level looks. Psychological studies indicate that female attraction is rarely a response to loud dominance. Deep down, the mind searches for consistency, a steady emotional baseline that persists even when life gets chaotic. This is what we call the invisible circle of safety. It is the aura of a mature man who serves as an immovable presence, someone who does not panic or crumble under pressure. While a younger man feels a desperate urge to rush in and fill every quiet moment with performative talking, a mature man can comfortably listen and observe. He doesn't rush to fix everything immediately. He stays grounded. True magnetism is generated by that emotional security. A man who understands the architecture of his own life naturally becomes an anchor for someone else's. This presence is a conscious architecture built through disciplined choices. It is the result of specific habits practiced daily until they become part of a man's nature. Look at this flow diagram mapping the first habit, emotional control. When a stimulus arrives, the untrained mind defaults to the erratic red path of ego reaction, which quickly shatters. A developed mind uses the smooth, straight path, choosing to thoughtfully respond rather than explode. The second habit is the selective circle. This requires trading wide popularity for deep peace by ruthlessly filtering out individuals who subtract value from your life. The third habit is putting purpose first. At 20, you were a dreamer seeking entertainment. Now you must become a builder. Notice the methodical precision required to lay a solid foundation. The focus moves away from flexing on social media and toward the deliberate work of building a lasting mission. When you consistently respond with logic while others react with ego, you become the most reliable person in the room. In moments of crisis, people look for the person who isn't panicking. They follow the man whose track record proves he can handle the weight. Your 40s are not a time for regret or looking backward. They are the exact starting line where you stop asking for permission, take the weight,